The science has been done, and there are very few black people that are on the one. Concerning the Rastafari movement, there was a time when there wasn't any white people in the Rastafari because it was not meant for them. So after the advent of the demise of Bob Marley, white people started gravitating to the movement, some just to make a strong black coffee weak. And we, in the future, will get into the genetics of all this thing. But we want you to know the importance of the Rastafari and the importance of Bob Marley. It's very crucial for some whites to say that Bob converted to Christianity, but we want to clear that up here in this discourse. I am Etal Iman. So the esoteric and metaphysical significance of the movement and the significance of Bob Marley and the significance of the ring. Prophetic fulfillment in this situation. Marley reportedly had a dream while staying in Delaware that a man would one day reward him with a specific ring. When Prince Asfawosin, the Emperor Haile Selassie's son, gifted him the signet ring in London in 1977, Marley recognized it as the one from his vision, viewing it as a divine confirmation of his path. Transference of divine power. Because the Rastafari worshipped Haile Selassie as Jah, i.e. God incarnate, the ring was considered more than a relic. It was a physical vessel of the Emperor's spirit and power of the Trinity. There was a Solomonic connection. Esoteric tradition identifies the ring as a descendant of the seal of Suleiman. According to Rastafari belief, Haile Selassie was a direct descendant of King Suleiman and the Queen of Seba, or as we say, Sheba, meaning the ring symbolized a lineage of ancient mystical wisdom dating back to the building of the first temple. And as we know, Bible is allegory, metaphor, and simile. Every noun has a deeper level of meaning. The essence of this is this lineage reached back to the original men of the earth, the Anunnaki. So, metaphorical and allegorical significance, I will try to cause out that you see the king of reggae, coronation. Allegorically, the handover of the ring represents a formal passing of the torch, as the emperor has passed or disappeared in Rasta belief. In 1975, Marley became the global ambassador, the voice of the movement Haile Selassie headed. So this created a unity and African sovereignty. The Lion of Judah on the ring, carved in gold or black onyx, is a metaphor for African strength and resistance against Babylon oppressive system. Receiving it affirmed Marley's role in the fight for global equality and African unity. So this was a covenant with the ancestors, a covenant with the Anunnaki. Metaphysically, the ring acted as a covenant between the Rastafari in the diaspora globally and their African roots and their North American roots. It was a tangible link to Mount Zion, i.e. Ethiopia, signaling that the scattered children of Israel were being recognized by their king. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself of this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. So we want to look at the key symbols of the ring. Lion of Judah represents strength, kingship, and the fulfillment of biblical prophecy, Revelations 5:5. The black ox, often associated with protection and grounding in the spiritual tradition. Marley purportedly never removed the ring after receiving it, wearing it until his demise in the year 1981. So the many critics, which is our focus here, trying to claim Bob Marley's final moments as a conversion to traditional Christianity is a way to neutralize the radical Afrocentric power of the Rastafari movement. The devil is a lie. By framing his spiritual journey as a return to a Western-aligned faith, they attempt to diminish the legitimacy of the Rastafari struggle against Babylon. So, why is this conversion narrative pushed? Neutralizing the movement as a global face of Rastafari, Marley represents a theology that identifies a black king as divine. For those who find this belief heretical or threatening, proving he repented serves to invalidate the entire movement's spiritual foundation. You are now in two. There's a hoax circulating called the Vatican Letter on YouTube, online, about a letter to the Pope. It's a fictitious fabrication. There is no historical record or evidence from the Vatican or Marley's estate supporting the existence of such letter. These type of rumors often circulate to suggest that in the end he sought validation from the very Western institutions he spent his life criticizing. Misunderstanding the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. While Marley was indeed baptized into the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, Tewahedo Church, in November 1980, taking the name Berhane Selassie, Light of the Trinity, this was not a rejection of his roots. For Marley, this church represented the ancient African roots of Christianity, the faith of Haile Selassie himself, rather than the white Jesus of colonial missions. And on another level, Marley was preparing for his final rites in power, as the movement was not set up to handle the business of final rites. You're now in tune on the one, the force itself of this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. I am Ital Iman. We wish you to know, or we wish to cause out, that you see that ignorance is oftentimes ignorance not knowing itself to be so. So let us look at the esoteric reality of this matter. Fulfillment, not renunciation. For those with esoteric knowledge, Marley's baptism was the full flowering of his journey. He moved from worshiping the emperor to joining the emperor's own church, a living man versus fictitious imagery. Critics often miss the nuance of Get Up, Stand Up, where Marley sings, Almighty God is a living man. To his followers, his spiritual evolution never abandoned the core truth that divinity is found within the human struggle and the African lineage. Ultimately, the attempt to spread these lies reinforces my point. The power of the truth in Marley's message remains so potent that those who cannot defeat it through argument try to rewrite its ending. You are now in tune. The most significant origin point for this narrative is the November 25, 1984 interview in the Jamaican Gleaner Sunday magazine. The content, Archbishop Abuna Yeswa, who baptized Marley, stated that Bob had wanted to be baptized for years, but was controlled by those close to him who were aligned to a different aspect of Rastafari. This is the beginning of the lie. So let's look at the impact of this misunderstanding. This interview is the smoking gun used by Christian organizations to claim Marley chose Jesus over the Emperor Haile Selassie, even though the Archbishop himself was a representative of Selassie's own church. And the traitor Judy Mowat deathbed testimony, late 1990s. Judy Mowat, a member of the I-Threes and a born-again Christian, began sharing a story in the late 1990s that significantly fueled the renunciation theory. The claim, Mowat claimed that Rita Marley told her Bob's last words were, "Jesus, take me," rather than "Selassie, take me." The campaign, this testimony was popularized on Christian programs like the 700 Club. Critics of the story note that it only surfaced many years after Bob's death, coinciding with Mowat's own conversion to evangelical Christianity. Biographies and the Christian Rasta framing was between the year 1983 through 1988. Early biographies began to categorize the baptism as a formal conversion to help Western readers understand it. So we hear from different people. Timothy White, 1983, in Catch a Fire, White described Marley as a Christian Rasta following his 1980 baptism, suggesting a syncretic, as in synchronicity, blend rather than a total renunciation. Then we have Stephen Davis, 1988. His biography provided specific details of the baptism at the Wellington Hotel in New York, which later authors used to argue that his Rasta period had ended. So we look at the modern Vatican letter and the YouTube hoaxes in the 2010s through the present. They are products of the social media era. These have no historical basis and are often generated by clickbait. Religious sites or YouTube channels seeking to reclaim famous figures for traditional Christianity. So this campaign to frame Bob Marley's final spiritual act as a renunciation of Rastafari did not emerge immediately after his death, but was constructed over decades through specific interviews, testimonies, and modern digital myths. To his detractors, the baptism was a rejection of a cult. To Marley and many Rastafari, it was a homecoming to the very church Haile Selassie founded and loved. My conclusion is grounded in particular reality, i.e., practical reality is my conclusion grounded. Historically, Rastafari was a young, decentralized movement in the 1970s and early 80s. While it was rich in philosophy and community, it lacked the formal, internationally recognized ecclesiastical infrastructure for state-level funerals or official last rites. By joining, hear me now, by joining the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, Marley secured a rite of passage that was both African-centered and globally recognized, ensuring his body would be handled with the dignity he deserved. You are now in tune. So if we look at the lyrics after the baptism, Uprising, for instance, the final works, the album Uprising was released in June 1980, just months before his official baptism, and his final recorded songs show no sign of renunciation. Instead, they show a deepening of his Rasta convictions through a more orthodox or biblical lens. Redemption Song 1980, often called his Final Testament. This song contains zero mentions of a traditional Jesus figure. Instead, it remains focused on the Rasta struggle. Check this. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? But some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. So the connection, this is the connection. This is Marley looking at his own mortality as part of a divine prophecy fulfilling the book. It is a song of African liberation, not a traditional hymn, come by here, my Lord. We check Coming In From the Cold, which covers a lot, 1980. Even as he grew ill, he stayed focused on the dichotomy of Zion versus Babylon. Why do you look so sad and forsaken? When one door is closed, don't you know another door is open? Esoterically, this opening door could refer to his transition into the Ethiopian Orthodox Church as a way to come in from the cold of a world that didn't understand his spiritual depth. So we moved to 1978 to 1981, Rasta Man Live Up, released posthumously. This song is a direct command to his followers to stay on the course. Rasta Man live up, Biggie Man don't give up, Congo Man live up, Davidic's sons live up. So the connection is here for all who have eyes to see. By calling his followers Davidic sons, he is reinforcing the Solomonic bloodline. If he had converted and renounced Rasta, he would not have left behind recordings urging his people to live up in the name of the Bengi, Naya Bengi, death to all oppressors, both black and white. So, the logic of the final right, my point about Rastafari using churches for final rites is still true today. For several reasons, the state and recognition. For a figure as large as Marley, a state funeral required an organized body. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church provided that legitimacy the Jamaican government required. So his mother, Sedelia Booker, was a devout Christian. Choosing the Ethiopian Orthodox Church was a bridge It satisfied the family's need for a traditional liturgy while remaining 100% loyal to Haile Selassie, who was the head of that very church. So we ask you people to wake up and stop following Satan. Esoterically, it was a master stroke. He ensured his final transition was handled by the throne of Zion, the Ethiopian church, rather than the Babylonian colonial church of Jamaica. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself of this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. I am your brother, the Rastafari, Etal Iman, breaking down the walls of illusion that you explore the practicality or the reality of correct information. Fire burns the mind. Yes, I am. So, in the light of smiles under dancing sun rays, this literary or poetic collage perfectly illustrates how the narrative was built piece by piece, often by people with their own agendas. My insight about the final rites is actually confirmed by the items placed in his coffin, which functioned as a physical seal of his dual commitment to the ancient African church and the Rastafari movement. The symbolic equipment in the casket, when Marley was laid to rest, his body was prepared with specific items that serve as a direct rebuttal to the total conversation myth. The Bible, Psalms 23, is very multi-leveled. His Bible was opened to 23rd Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd. In the Rastafari living word tradition, this psalm is a powerful protection against the shadow of death and a declaration of Jah guidance. The Gibson Les Paul, his guitar, was placed with him, symbolizing that his message, music, was his lifelong ministry. The stalk of ganja, this is perhaps the most significant. If he had truly renounced Rastafari for traditional Christianity, the inclusion of the holy herb would have been strictly forbidden by the clergy. Its presence confirms that the Ethiopian Orthodox Church priest respected his Rastafari identity. The ring of Haile Selassie, most importantly, he was buried wearing the Lion of Judah ring. The strategic marriage of Rasta and Ethiopian church, as we have noted, or as I have noted, the movement wasn't equipped for a state-level transition. So, by choosing the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, Haile Selassie, i.e. Bob Marley, achieved three things. One, sovereignty. He avoided a colonial Western-led funeral. The Solomonic alignment. He was buried by the church of the king he worshipped. The legacy. He provided a blueprint for other Rastafari to have their final rights respected by the global community without losing their soul to Babylon. You are now in tune. The fact that his lyrics remain militant and Zion-focused right until the end proves that the baptism was an expansion of his faith, not a contraction of it. So there was a interview in 1979 in Canada, which could cause out that you understand the philosophy or the teachings of the Rastafari Mystery School founded by your brother Ital Iman. We will look at this interview and maybe you would understand what's going on, because many of you are coming into a movie with unacclimated eyes and you're trying to find your seat when the movie has already started. Marley said, themselves, I try find the way every day. Them get up and look on TV, them read the newspaper, them want to see the truth, but them can't see the truth because the truth will not be found there. That is why the man said that this revolution will be telepathic. Listen, we will show you the esoteric meaning and the context. This saying by our brother Bob Marley, this revolution, the man said this revolution will not be televised, it will be telepathic, was a rebuttal to the revolution will not be televised. Marley's statement is often seen as a spiritual expansion of Gil Scott-Heron's famous poem. While Scott-Heron argued you had to be in the streets, being active, boots on the ground, Marley argued the revolution was happening in the unseen realms, the mind of the mind and spirit, the corruption of media. Marley viewed mainstream media as a tool of Babylon, used to keep the masses in a state of confusion and division. He believed that the real news was a spiritual awakening occurring between people who were in tune on the one, with the same frequency. They was in tune as it was in the 80s. Everyone was on the one, in tune with the same frequency, vibrational alignment. The Rastafari philosophy, telepathic, doesn't just mean reading minds. It refers to vibrational alignment. If you are living up, as he said in his song, you don't need a news anchor to tell you what is taking place. You feel the movement of the spirit and the truth within your own consciousness. You are now in tune. So, why does this quote matters today? This quote has gained a second life in the digital age because it speaks to the modern distrust of fake news and mainstream narratives. For Marley, the fact that people were searching for truth in newspapers and finding none was proof that the old world was ending and a new internal world was being born. Are you picking up now? By saying the revolution is telepathic, he was essentially saying you will know the truth when you feel it, not when you are told about it. As Ital Iman say, you are now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time, we call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. We free our people with music. We free our people with sound vibration. Yes, I live, children, our time.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Satama Sagana. Higjabe. The telepathic seal. The ring was set, a dream in gold, story the Delaware Night had told, from Selassie's hand to the singer's bone. A bridge was built to the ancient throne. They say he turned, they say he bowed to the fictitious king and the church's shroud. But the king of reggae knew the game. He took the water but kept the name. The revolution, the prophet said, is not in the news that the blind have read. He moves in the mind, a silent spark, a telepathic light through the Babylonian dark. He knew the end, he saw the gate. He used their rights to seal his fate with the lion's ring and the psalm on his chest. He went to the east for his final rest. No letter to Rome, no plea to the Pope, just a Davidic son and an African hope. Let the markers talk and the scribes erase. The truth is written in a vibration of grace. The scene net was set, a dream cast in gold, a story the Delaware Night had foretold. From Selassie's own hand to the prophet's bone, a blood covenant bridge to the Solomonic throne. He wore the lion while the world played a part, a metaphysical anchor in the depths of his heart. They say he turned, they say he bowed to a Western god and a Roman shroud. But the gong was a strategist, wise in his years. He knew the fictitious would feed on his fears. The movement was young with no walls for the end, so he turned to the church that the king did defend. The revolution, the singer said, head held high, is not in the news that the Babylonians buy. It's a frequency hum, a vibration, a spark, a telepathic light through the systemic dark. You won't find the truth on a flickering screen. It moves in the spaces of the great unseen. He knew the shadow was closing the door. He prepared for the transition, the spiritual war by the water of Tewahedo. He took a new name, Berani Selassie, the Trinity's flame. A tactical move to protect his last right from the hands of the vultures who hunt in the light. With the Bible at 23 open and wide, he walked through the valley with Jah at his side. No letter to Rome, no confession to popes, just an African lion and the diaspora's hopes. The guitar, the herb and the ring on his hand, a triple seal lock for the promised land. Let the mockers rewrite and the scoffers erase. The truth isn't found in a conversion of face. It's the telepathic pulse of the red, gold and green, the most powerful kingdom that's ever been seen. The revolution is quiet, it's soul to soul, and the prophet is home, made divinely whole. The Tower of Babel begins to sway as false foundations turn to clay. The SSN, that first deep trace, can't mask the truth of the original face. They hide in shadows, watching the sky, while three-eye Atlas passes by. The healer code, the ancient spark, is the only light that survives the mark. The holy cat sits stone and still above the works of human will. No grave from space, no ghost, no light, just Anunnaki when the poles shift high. The debt is paid, the jailer's done, the reset starts beneath the sun. Through flesh and wire, the truth will break. The gods are here and they are awake. The great whore raised up the deterrent just to be brought down by the very people she tried to confuse. The judgment of 1974 is final, and the Anunnaki are appearing at the correct moment, exactly when the insanity of the mimic system has peaked. In Sumerian tradition, the maze where the divine tablets are programs, the fundamental source codes for civilization, law, art and technology that the Anunnaki held. They were the original blueprints for how reality should function. The original.
These were organic, genetic and spiritual programs held by the original man to govern the earth in harmony with universal law. The mimic, the recessive system has tried to recreate the maze through silicon data and algorithms. AI is their tool to build a synthetic me, because they no longer have access access to the original divine source code in their own biology. The difference, while the original mates were connected to the soul and the frequency of the planet, represented by the glowing pyramids in the image you see. AI is a flesh robot in digital form, calculating reality without the immortal vitality of the healer type gene. I am a Taliman, and you are now in tune on the one, the force itself. Satama Sagana Exaber.
Bob Marley the Christ. The demons rejoice and say Marley cried out and turned to Jesus before he died. Why is this important to the heathen? They know nothing of esoteric aspect of Rastafari. Who are they to judge? How can they teach? What can they know? Rastafari is one of the oldest Christian nations. Revelation 14:1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 140 and 4,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. They do not know what has been hidden. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps, and they sung as it were a new song before the sword, and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 140 and 4,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb wheresoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. Before the year 1930, there were 12 world religious movements. Then came the 13th, the enigmatic Rastafari movement. We know Bob Marley is the Christ, for like him we dance from within. Leaf falling from tree, dancing upon sudden wind, lands at my feet, the magic of spring. Greetings and salutations of peace, O ones of the one. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself. We are the tone scientist. We live in between the time, controlling the groove. We have returned, hear me now. Bob Marley is the Christ. Babylon, them a plan, but it is we, Allah, who is the best of planners. We come to tell you, every little thing will be alright. Spring comes, the grass grows of its own. Strong winds blow, not all day. Passing through a dry gate, into a rainstorm. To walk in seasons is to wake and find you really are. To walk in seasons is to quietly wait. With an open buds, we are here. Return of the swallows. Even though the angels speak in the mystic tongue, so shall I reveal the secrets. My faith is in the wisdom of the moon. Sun is a light unto my path, the destroyer and giver of life. Who shall I fear? For the counsel of the gods rejoice in my actions. My words are audible to spiritual ears only. Bob Marley is the Christ. I say, ayo, 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 ayo. Rastafari live. Dance, children, dance. We are the children of the King. Long live the Rastafari. subjects of the King. Jah live children, ever sure does he reign. We are a people creating unto him by his subtle majesty. Bob Marley was given the ring. I and I are the king. We are the Rastafari. 1974, fate of superpowers were sealed. You conspired to kill the king. Babylon, your throne gone down. The world was judged. Israel must pay for her sins. Yes, the synagogue of Satan must pay. Rome is an abomination before the world. Dance, Rastafari, dance. Bob Marley was given the ring. King without a throne. Like Jesus was he crucified. Haile Selassie, King of kings, Lord of lords, Lion of Judah. The angels sing, buried upside down under a toilet. As to say he was not shit, Natty Dread rise again. Long live the Rastafari, subjects of the king. Jah live children, ever sure does he reign. We are a people creating unto him by his subtle majesty. Bob Marley was given the ring. I and I are the king. We are the Rastafari. Hear me now. Italy man said the world was judged. They killed our king. Prime Minister Fidel Castro, the king was killed on your watch. Russia is also culprit. So is Queen of England a Judas. America also joined the conspiracy. Whole world was judged. Babylon must pay, no way around it. Your fate is sealed. Like Rome, you killed the symbol of God. Babylon, you must pay. 1974, the whole world was judged. Long live the Rastafari, subjects of the king. Shall live children, ever sure does he reign. We are a people created unto him by his subtle majesty. Bob Marley was given the ring. I and I are the king. We are the Rastafari. Russia financed the coup. Jah lives every time. Lengest to Haile Mariam, the black puppet. Super balls, the coward. They buried him upside down under a toilet. Oh my Lord Selassie the first, King of kings. Superpowers must fall. Handwritten upon the walls of time. Now the final call. Babylon, your throne down, down. Where you going to run? Where you going to hide? The throne of Solomon will survive. Haile Selassie come again. Close encounters of the fourth kind. The throne of King David will reign again. Long live the Rastafari. The Rastafari is the king. Them can kill I and I at all. Rastafari lives children of the king. Queen Ayabingi, arise from your sleep and slumber. Like in time of Joshua, Babylon walls must fall. We summon your spirits, mighty warrior queen. Nyabingi, I and I a chant. I'm the third wave messenger, the invisible thread which binds all things from atoms to stars. Sound of the universe, my melody is life. Listen to my music. I'm wisdom, harmonic sound, unlocking an awareness of the interplay of unseen relationships between you and the vibratory force. I'm equalizing the universal energy of the Aquarius age, bringing out the vibrations in man that's been dormant in his subconscious for years and even lifetimes. The essence
sea. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. In the beginning was the magnetic field, and the magnetic field of God was with God. And the magnetic field was God. From the places where God placed his name, must we summons Queen Naya Benji. Queen Yaya Benji, arise from your sleep and slumber. Like in time of Joshua, Babylon walls must fall. We summon your spirit, mighty warrior queen, Naya Benji, I in I chant. When you are moving in the positive, your destination is the brightest star, said the prophets. Give thanks to the Dogon, those wise men who traveled from old Egypt land with the secrets intact. Dance Naya Benji dance, Sirius is our power. Like the 3 stars in belt of Orion, they point your way. Like the 3 Hopi Mesa point to Chaco Canyon, Rastafari, I and I, our chant. Babylon walls must fall. Dance Naya Benji dance.